welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kenny. Today we're going to be wrenching on the RM250, doing a silencer repack and a pipe cleaning. So let me get some tools together and let's get started. Well, alright, now that I've got everything laid out, I just wanted to show you what I got going on before I get started on this. And this is everything that I'm going to be using to work on mine. Every bike's going to differ from time to time. Some are going to use pop rivets, some are going to use sockets. Mine uses sockets. So let me show you what I got going on and then we'll get started. So the first things first, you're going to definitely need some silencer packing. I use some Fly Racing there. Some high temp red Permatex. You can use the other stuff, but I always recommend the high temp, you know, just in case you're hot summer days. I live in Florida, so it's always super hot. I got the FMF spring kit and the O-ring kit, some rags, some WD-40 brake cleaner, some more brake cleaner. I got some safety wire, an 8mm socket, a 10mm socket, a 10mm wrench, a pair of little channel locks, a safety wire twister, a spring puller, and my ugga-dugga and some gloves. So now that I've showed you what I got going on, let me go ahead and get some work clothes on because this is a messy job and we'll get started. Well guys, first things first, rubber gloves. This is probably one of the messiest two-stroke jobs you'll do besides rebuilding the motor. Definitely wear gloves every time because this stuff stains your hands. You know how hard it is to get off your swing arms and stuff like that. But let's get started. Got my ugga-dugga and a 10mm here. So let's come around here. First things first, we're going to take the number plate off. There's one more over here. If I can find it. And you just pop the seat up. Every bike's a little different. We're going to take the number plate. I'm going to stick down here. We're going to stick them down there for right this second. And as you can see all the goop on my plug. That's usually typical, normal. But I like to do this every 6 months or so. I got a 10mm here. I'm going to knock that bracket loose. And then the rest of the two are 8mm. So let me go ahead over here and get my 8mm socket. Alright, so we got the socket going on here. We'll just take our brackets loose here. You know, always inspect the rubber grommets and stuff like that in there and go from there. Take that one loose. And that'll loosen your pipe out. So, now that I've got that loose, we're going to go ahead and take these two loose. I know one of these takes a 10mm wrench, and that was what that was for. But let's see if I can get that loose without taking that off there. So, okay, it did come loose. So, now that I've got that loose, we're going to go ahead and take that bolt out and just drop your silencer loose here. And as you can see, you look in there, you see all that goo in there, stuff like that, and you can see this has kind of been taking a beating, but it's 10mm. Usually where these 10mm are, sometimes there are a pop rivets that you got to repop rivet. I like to inspect this right here. As you can see, it's starting to get crusty. A little bit of you can use radiator hose too for that. The best ones I've found that work on these the best is the ones off the CRs. I don't know why, but they just seem to last longer and never had a problem out of those. So let me go ahead and put this lift up and we'll get this pipe off of here. Alright, now that the compressor's all built up, nobody wants to hear that blowing in their ear. Let's go ahead and put this lift up. You can always see, leave it down on the safety locks and we'll let this bad boy down. And as you can see, there's two springs up in here, and they are kind of a pain in the butt to get to. I did replace these about 6 months ago, so I'm not going to be replacing the springs, but I am going to be replacing the O-rings on the pipe. So let me get my my spring puller here. We're going to come back around. First things first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab that bottom spring. They are on there good, and like I said, this back one is a kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm going to try and grab it from this side here. We're going to bring it around this side. Can I get it from over here? Just, this one's the only one that's a pain in the butt. But, is it going to go for me? It is not going to go for me. I'm not trying to stab myself with the spring puller too. There we go. We're going to come back around and we're going to go ahead and ease this pipe out of here. As you can see, my O-ring started leaking a while ago. You can see that little bit of soot. You can look down in the pipe, see how crusty that is. I bought this bike used a while back, but as you can see down in there. And one thing I definitely want to do is, since we got it here, we're going to take a peek up in there, and we're going to look for scoring on the piston. Now this was supposed to be a power valve cleaning too, which the power valves are right back here, and I might actually still attempt to do on this video is clean that out. Definitely want to get all that soot out of there, but I also need to replace the gasket here. I'm not going to do a video on that one, but that definitely needs, you can see the seepage right there, and that's definitely going to be needing to be replaced. But let's get back to this pipe. So first things first, I'm going to grab this here oil pan and try and make myself some room here, because I got stuff in my way. Move my silencer. Now we're going to come over here. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab a pick kit right here, and I'm going to go ahead and pick these O-rings right on off of here. Usually there's two, but this one's only got one. So I'm going to toss that right there. Actually, let me go ahead and pitch that in the trash. I just didn't want the pipe to fall. But we're going to come around here. We're going to grab our rag and brake cleaner. I like brake cleaner, but you can use mineral spirits and stuff like that. Try not to get grease on the floor here. We're going to go ahead and wipe around the excess of where the O-ring sat. Probably going to double O-ring that since I got two in the kit. You can see, so what I am going to do, like I said, you can use mineral spirits, brake cleaner, and we are just going to dump it in there. Don't need to totally fill the pipe, but I put enough in there to, what I like to do is slosh it around. Alright, now that we got that, I'm going to go ahead and cover one end with my hand and cover the other end. And I'm going to do my best to slosh that around. Oh, I'm trying not to make a mess. Like I said, this is probably one of the messiest jobs you'll do in two-stroke. So I'm trying not to get this everywhere. And I'm dripping it on the floor. But I'm making a mess. But let's go ahead and dump that back out. Like I said, I warned you guys that this is probably one of the messiest jobs you'll do on two-stroke. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that off. Let me wipe this off the floor here real quick. Like I said, definitely one of the messier jobs that you'll do. Another thing, after you do the brake cleaning and stuff like that, you're definitely going to want to let the pipe air dry out, because the last thing you want to do is start the bike with a ton of brake cleaner in the pipe, and you got to make sure you get all that out. So I'm gonna slash that around, put a little more back in there. Usually the oil builds up in here and then the back in the silencer. So I'm trying to slosh that around a little bit. We're gonna take that, dump that back out. Am I gonna go? Hold on. All right. There we go. And I'm making a mess again. Just dumping that back out. As you can see, it's coming out of there. It's dark. And I'm not going to do no more on that. I'm going to go ahead and wipe the floor a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and let this pipe dry out. Like I said, you don't want to be starting a bike after you just put fresh brake cleaner in there and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead, and as you can see, I mean, it's a black pan, but that fluid is completely black. So what we're going to do is, now that I got that on the table, I'm going to come around here and grab my O-rings. If it'll fit, I'm going to double O-ring that. And let's see if I can double O-ring it. Yep, I'm going to double O-ring that. There we go. Should get a nice seal out of that. Wipe that out. And if you're asking what the WD-40 is for, well, I got the pipe off. I like to clean it. So we're gonna wipe that down, wipe that down, wipe it down. I used to have the works pipes on my bikes back in the day. They are a pain in the ass to keep clean and keep the rust off of them. So I switched to platinum a long time ago, so you didn't have to deal with that. Got a nice little shiner right there. But clean that pipe off. Make it look nice again. The WD-40 will burn off when you go to start it again. So now that we got that, we're gonna go to the most important part. Alrighty, so now that I got everything laid out, we're gonna start on the silencer. I did want to add that I try not to cut or edit any of my videos too much. I actually want you guys to see the messy part about it, or how aggravating some of this stuff can be. Especially when I get into like the motor rebuilds, the transmission, stuff like that. Down the line, I'll do videos on that stuff. But you know, not everything is peaches and cream. Not everything goes as it's planned. You see me dump a bunch of stuff on the floor. Obviously, I didn't plan that. But let's get started on the silencer. As you can see, I got the 10mm bolts. We're going to go ahead and knock every last one of those out. These are just self-tappers, and there's those three. I'm going to keep them separate here. Keep them separate. Alright, we're going to take these out. As you can see, I've used the red Permatex right there. You know, like I said, I do this about every 6 months. You can see the red Permatex that I had on there from the last time I did this. And we're going to go ahead and pull that apart and see how dirty that is. So we're just going to go ahead and get some brake cleaner here. See what I'm talking about? We're going to go ahead and just clean that out. And I'm going to do it right down in there. You can see all that goop just washing away. Try and get some of this Permatex off there. Yeah, but like I said, I want you guys to see the real nitty-gritty of it. I don't want to edit nothing out. I don't want you guys to miss the stuff. You know, I watch so many channels that, you know, not knocking them, but, you know, they keep it clean. They keep it very professional. But I would rather show you how aggravating that the maintenance of the bike can actually be sometimes, you know. This is one of the main reasons why you're paying the dealership so much money, is just time for them to do all this stuff. I'll get some of that permatex, let's wipe it off there. But you know, the dealerships are charging you usually between $120 $130 an hour. You know, most people don't know how to do stuff like this, and you know, I just try to keep these videos up to date so you guys can see what I got going on. So that's one piece clean. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this rag. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that out of there. And now we're gonna take this, and you see how it's been sucked up in there, but I'm gonna pull that permatex off of there. And the next part is, see the glob of stuff coming out of there? We're gonna go ahead and tap that out. See, it's all gonna come out. There goes my my honeycomb. We're gonna pull that crusty packing out of there. This is actually really not that bad. Last time I did it, I didn't have any steel wire, so you can. That is the worst part. That's the part that's soaked in the most of the what's the name. So let's go ahead and use that to wipe up the thing. We're gonna toss that in the trash because we don't need that no more. And come back around. So you can see everything in there. We're gonna go ahead and clean out as much of that as we possibly can. So this is actually happening a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. So we're going to go ahead and wipe this off. I'm going to go ahead and hit the inside of that with some brake cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and hit the outside of it with some brake cleaner. Dribble that off a little bit. I'm going to grab this rag here and just wipe it down. But you see the permatex still on there. We're gonna go ahead and get that off there the best we can. You don't want to keep gooping that on there. Might have to grab a little wire brush here in a second. Get that net. There it goes. This brake cleaner is pretty good. The O'Reilly's brand stuff. I used a fair amount because it's cheap and it works. Alright, let's go ahead and I'll clean all that out of there when I'm done here. Shove a rag through there, wipe all that off. Alright, we're going to come back up here to the table. We're going to grab our honeycomb. You can see it is sucking up. This really wasn't that bad, but if you look down in there, you can see all that goop building up. So we're going to come back down here. We're going to go ahead and clean that out. You see it getting a little rusty there. Alright, so now that I got that all cleaned up, let me tilt that back so it don't spill on the floor. Wipe that off the best I can. But let me straighten this area up and we'll get back to putting this back together. Alright, now that I got my workstation cleaned up a little bit, I hate clustered messes. We're going to go ahead and start with this. You always want to make sure that when you put it back together, it's going to bolt up correctly when you're done. So that's the way it's going to lay. That's the way my pipe is going to lay, and that's how my honeycomb is going to lay. So we're going to go ahead and move this stuff out the way for a second. We're going to go ahead and take this out of the package. Just unroll it a little bit. And what we're going to do, we're just going to take this and we're going to roll it up right on around the honeycomb and stuff it down inside the exhaust cone. All right, and right here is the end of where the honeycomb is. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to just go ahead and trim this down. because we don't need all that. That should be good. All right. Now, you see me had the tape on the last one, so I don't like using tape, obviously, because it's, you know, not flame retardant. So we're going to go ahead and we'll take a little bit of a safety wire and just pull this off a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot I grinded them because I didn't like the way they did it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, get my favorite snips in the world. I love those things. Came in a 3-pack from Home Depot. Can't beat that. So it's just going to take a little bit. I'm going to roll it. I'm going to wrap it around here and just bring it straight on. So get that up out the way. We're going to go ahead and take our safety wire pliers and get them up out the way. There we go. And we're just going to catch it, and just lock them down and just give it a few twists. I like to start it out, but try not to get that caught up in there. And you just pull it, and pull it. That's it. That's one. And you just wrap it around. It doesn't make a difference. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim that down just a little bit right there. I'm going to put one more of those on there. Take that. Take it longer this time. And I'll trim it down when I get to it. I'll cut it right there. And then we're going to take it, wrap it around, and then we're going to catch it right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and clamp it, pull my lock out, and just like I said, nothing ever goes as planned, and sometimes it can be aggravating. So there's that. Let me lock that down. All right, now it's in there. Go ahead and tighten that. All right, just to keep it in place. And we're gonna go ahead and trim that down. Cut it right there. Wrap that around. Now, remember what I said, you wanna make sure that your silencer is pointing the right direction when you're done. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna weasel that down in there. Try not to tear up your packing. So we're going to squeeze that down through there. Tuck that in there a little more. Remember what I said, nothing always goes as planned. So we're going to go ahead and take that out of there. But before I go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and get that off of there. I'm going to take those and just cut it out a little bit. See, I'm trying to get that out of there a little bit. Alright, so now that I've done that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our red Permatex. And you don't need to go crazy with it, that's for sure. A little dab will do you all the way around. You don't need to go nuts with it. A little bit of this stuff goes a long way, and man does this stuff stink. Alright, so now that I did that, we're just going to take our finger, we'll wipe it all the way around, just like so. I'm going to go ahead and wipe my finger off as soon as I can find my rag. There we go, there's my rag. Now, we're going to go ahead and shove that down in there. Where'd my rubber mallet go? There's my rubber mallet. We're just going to tap it back into place. It should be lined up, almost. A little more. A little more. A little more. Alright. to come back over here to get our bolts. The self-tappers were down here at this end. I'm going to go ahead and put them back in there. Alrighty. Put them back in there. You don't want to overgo with it because I don't recommend using tools, but I don't hammer on things, and I just dropped my bolt. Let's go ahead and pick that back up. So we're going to put this one back in there. This one's going to give me a little bit of problem. Watch. Always when you're trying to show somebody something, nothing ever goes right. Alright. Don't need to ugga-dugga that thing in there. Alright, so now that you see that I got that packing in there, you're just going to pull it out a little bit, fluff it towards the end, and just fluff it towards the end. Now, they always give you that little bit of extra. I'm going to take that, I'm going to wrap it, and then I'm going to pack the end of this just around the edges. Like so. Alright, and then you use the entire packing. Alright, so now, next thing's next. We're going to take the Permatex, we're going to go around the edges of it. Not a whole lot, a little bit goes a long way. Just a little bit. I'll wipe that around. Like I said, you don't need to go crazy with this stuff. Just a thin coat around the edges will work. Alright, so now that my silencer is going on there, it's going to sit on the bike just like that. Make sure all your stuff goes back together the way it should. So, we're going to take that and if I can get it to go back together correctly. Make a mess doing it. You watch. So, alright. Come on now. I am going to make a mess. So, yep. I should have started this before I put the Permatex on there, but let's go ahead and wipe that off there so it'll make a mess. Let me get this pipe started in there and then we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and go back to our roots here. Come on now. Like I said, always when you want to show somebody something. There we go. Take that, clean off them edges. Get all that packing off the sides over there. Alright, now that we got it off, now let's go ahead and put our Permatex back on there. Little dabs will do you. Alright. Alrighty. Now that I got that on there, just tap this down in there. Alright. I'm going to have a bolt here. Let's go ahead and wipe that off before I make a mess. The only downside of this stuff is trying not to make a mess. So I try to get that off my glove a little bit there. There's one. Here's 2. And here is 3. Like a feathered chicken. Alright, now that I got that back together, we're going to go ahead and let the pipe go ahead and dry out. We're going to let this Permatex dry, and then we'll come back and put this back together. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now that I've let the pipe go ahead and dry overnight, I've let the Permatex dry, and we're going to go ahead and do the best part of everything, and that is put this thing back together. So we're going to go ahead, take that pipe out there. We're going to go ahead, pop it back in there. Got the new O-rings, going to wiggle a little bit. Grab my trusty spring puller. This is the easy one. This spring is the easiest. I literally fight the other side every time I do this, but go ahead and grab that. Pull it back. This one, like I said, that one's the easy one. And here it clank in place. Alright, let's go do the pain in the butt side. I don't know why they designed it like this, but you can see the spring is way back in there. I got my, what's the name? Go ahead, try and catch this. Did I get it? Yep, I got it. Alright, let's see which way my thing goes. That is the side that usually the pain in the butt, but it went right in. Alright, you're going to come back around here. We're going to set that, and we're going to make sure everything's where it needs to be. We're going to go ahead and take our first one and find our bolts for that. And that's our second mount. I know for a fact that that is my number plates, and these last ones are for everything else. So let's go ahead and take all this out of there. That's for the back one. That's for the back one. That's for the exhaust. And everything from this point is going to be right here. So we're going to take that. That one goes right there. We're going to grab our Ugga Dugga. We're going to go ahead and put that in there a little bit. Alright, so that was a 10, and I know that was a different one, so we're going to go ahead and change that up real fast. We're going to go ahead and put this back on there. Oop, I put the wrong bolt in there, and that's my bad. There's this one. Alright, there we go. Just give it a little Ugga Dugga. Come up here, give it a little Ugga Dugga. I'm going to grab these other ones right here. This one's never really fit right in my opinion, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and, oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Oops. Alright, so that's another thing. Make sure you remember where all your bolts go, because this is my bad on this one. There you go, right there. There you go, right there. I don't remember if that was holding that. I don't think that's the right one. Nope. We're going to swap those real quick. So, there we go. This should have a washer on it, but I know I don't have any that are that size, so I'm going to run with it, and then I'll go to the store later on and get one. So, a couple little Ugga Duggas. Another couple Ugga Duggas. Alright, so now that I've got that on there, we're going to go ahead and take our silencer. We're going to put the silencer back on there. I like it when it nice and bolts up like that. So let's go ahead and let this lift down. Hopefully I ain't got a, well, looking like I'm out of air, and I'm not going to turn the compressor back on for that. So let's go ahead and just do it this way. I'm going to try and get everything back up in there for you guys. So there's one. I'm going to stick that. It's got that one little nut cert on the back of it. So grab my impact gun. Alright, that's in place. We'll come down here, we're gonna get one more. We're gonna go there, just like that, and that had that 10 millimeter nut on the back side of it. I know. There's that. And we're gonna go ahead and stick the, put that back on there. We're gonna go ahead and put this number plate back on and swap out to our 10 millimeter. So one goes right there. Oop, and I got that switched up with this other one. I need to swap that real quick. But let's just keep rolling with it in the meantime. There's that one. Like I said, I gotta swap that one because that was the wrong bolt. But there's that. Come back around here. We're gonna take that one. That's the one that I mixed up. Still 10 millimeter bolt, but wrong place. There we go. Whoop. Everything's so aggravating sometimes. There we go. Nice. And there you have it. Let me let this thing down. Alright guys, I definitely want to apologize that this video ended up turning out to be a train wreck, but that's the reality of wrenching on bikes and cars and stuff like that. Is one 5-minute project can turn into an hour, and that's just how it goes sometimes, but I definitely want to keep it real for you guys, and I definitely appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. And if you haven't been here before, do me a favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and until next time, stay safe, wear your helmet, rock your gear, and I'll see you in the next video.